is a very fantastic, not only comic book writer with Moebius about all the source printed in France, but a great mime. And he opened a school of pantomime. So I decided to learn pantomime, not to become an actor, but to apply it to my work. Because I figured it out that if you know your body the way that mimes know it, about its weight, about its action, about reactions, I could apply it to my work. And I said, this is what I want to join, not to become an actor. And I said, fantastic, very good. So I joined, and I learned a lot of pantomime. I introduced Alejandro and the pantomimes in the theater. I will come out in whiteface with a white easel, and I will draw what the mimes were going to do. Marcel Marceau used words, a little sign that says, the magician. And then the guy will do the magician and do his act. But I drew it. So all of it was pantomime. So I was fascinated, and Alejandro was my teacher, yes. My guru, yeah.
Here is a leading question to this, Sergio. We've got Mayur Mistry, who wants to know that you've done comic strips on so many subjects, from doctors to sports to romance, so forth. But your take on all these subjects is hilarious. How do you get the inspiration or such detailed understanding on the subjects?
I cannot tell you, because then I give you my secrets. No. I don't know. It's just something. Look, people can teach art. People can teach cartooning. You can teach animation because it has certain logic in it. Drawing has a logic in it. But humor, sadly, is something that you have or you don't have. It's like a sense of not being afraid to talk in public, or not being afraid of snakes, whatever it is. It's something innate. You have a sense of humor, and with the time, it becomes like a routine. You think of any subject, and then you figure out what doesn't belong there, or what will be a result of something that doesn't fit, or something that it will make you cry, but you make it humorous. So you go from there, you see, and also you learn from the people who did it before you. You see something very funny, and then you realize, well, a very bad example, a French cartoonist, which I adore them all, Tetsu, Chaval, Moss, all of them, they did pantomime cartoons, and I look at, and I remember one, for instance, there's a parade, and all of them have guns. So I figured out, well, what about if one has an umbrella instead of a gun? So you draw it. Or you think, well, right now a bird is standing on top of a rifle. You think of an absurdity, something that doesn't fit there, something that you don't expect. Because I think laughter is a notion that you have when they get you by surprise, and you get scared or you get afraid and you laugh. You see somebody falling, you're not really enjoying that the guy's falling, but it's a reaction, it's a physical reaction, you laugh. So when he got you by surprise, you laugh. So you try to get people to laugh at something that is new,
Tony, I just want to add here that Sergio does a lot of homework for any subject that he gets into. We know him as he's known as the world's fastest cartoonist and all that, but he's a writer, he's a sculptor, he's done jewelry. We know that he's formerly studied architecture, but he gets into every subject that, like, Sergio, you said that you also sculpt your own props, right? Like,
yes.
on wood.
Yes. Well, it's a need. It's very hard to think ideas when you have a pencil in your hand. Why? Because you start drawing. So, but if I don't draw, I can think straight without having to draw it. So I write notes to later develop it. So when I draw it, it's fresh. Because if you write it, if you draw it before and you redraw it again to see how it looks, and then you draw it again for the final, you have lost the spontaneity of the drawing. So I write it by hand, instead of drawing it. Okay. So when I'm thinking, I have to have my hand busy. So I start carving things. We were talking the other day.
Yes.
I carve pens. I take a piece of wood and I carve a pen.
Lovely.
It's another pen
Yes.
and another pen
Oh.
and another pen, you know, and another pen. So I just carve little pens, you know. So I carve whales, you know, little whales, little things, and the application that Vaib was talking about is that when you draw in a continuity, you don't want the brain to get distracted from the story. So if you draw something that doesn't belong there, automatically your subconscious that's following a story, it jars it because that thing doesn't belong there, like an anachronism, something that doesn't belong. Your mind will tell you that it breaks the continuity. So when I'm doing a boat, a ship, I realize that if I build ships, and when we were talking before, I told him that I was going to show him one of my models, and I brought it in, you know. So,
Oh wow!
well, that's one of them. You know, it's called the Goa. It was one of Amundsen's ships when he went to. So I build it, you know, and you add little things, and when you're doing that, suddenly the idea that you were working, so you put it aside, and you write what you were doing. And hours later or a day later, you continue doing this, you know, adding little things. And once now, if I need to draw a ship, I take any of mine and I see that perspective. Oh, that has to go like that. And I use it a lot now. Every time I draw a ship, I take one of my models and I go like that. She was go like that. And I can see exactly where I want my ship to go.
Right.
Sometimes a lot of people don't pay attention to that because they get very lazy and says, I have to deliver this job. I can take the liberties that I want because I'm doing my own comic, so I don't have to worry too much about that. So this is one of the models that I was talking to you about.
Lovely, lovely. Sergio, what is that made of? Is it wood and cloth?
It's wood. Wood. The cells are cloth. The threads are threads. You buy a kit. You go at the store, and it comes completely apart. You have to cut the wood, and you follow the plans. Like you get airplanes, you know, the little models.
Yes.
But instead of being plastic, it's in wood. And you have to look at old pictures. And when I went to a comic book convention in Norway, there's a museum, and this ship is there. So all the people says, oh, let's go to see that. And says, no. We have to go to Oslo because there's a museum, there's a ship that I built and I have to see it. So I went to see the Goa and it was there. And it looked exactly like it, but much bigger. I don't know. Yeah, it's great. So
okay, leading sorry. Yes, leading to this, a couple of interesting questions here. One, I think, is from outer space because it says Galaxy A7 2016. So I don't know from which.
Okay, Tony ji,
yes.
I think I know Galaxy, and I'm very happy to say that most of us know the Amul Butter campaign, right? That we see.
Yes.
So Galaxy, I think, is Manish Zaveri. Please correct me, Manish. You could unmute me yourself, and you know, Manish is the artist who writes the Amul Butter campaign for I think over 2 decades now. So we are very happy that he's on board. Sergio, it's a very, very popular advertising campaign in India. But I may be wrong. So Galaxy, please.
Yeah. I think you're right. I didn't even know that it is Galaxy. Sergio, I am a huge fan of Mad Magazine, and amongst all the galaxy of Mad cartoonists, you are my favorite. I must be having around 500 Mad magazines at home, and
more than I have.
and my daughter is 16 years old, and she's also taken to sketching, and I keep showing her all the marginals. And I said, look at the amount of stories that that have been packed into such a tiny little thing. You know what I want to ask you is that you know, in advertising, whenever I have an idea which I like but which gets rejected, I save it. I said that I'm sure that there'll be somebody who will, you know, use it later on. So does it sometimes happen with you too that, you know, you've given some ideas earlier which weren't taken for whatever reason, but you save it and say that, okay, I'm sure that somebody will like it and it'll be light of day again?
No, I'm very fortunate. No. It's yes, it happens. You present an idea that you think is going to be terrific, and they says, well, no, that's not exactly where we want to go. So you put it aside, and suddenly it happens that whatever you wanted, and then you says, here, I have an idea before these guys do it, and they buy it. You're totally right. It happens. Yes. So it's many writers, they do a book or a cartoon, and they bring it over to an editor, a publisher. And maybe the publisher says, well, not now. And they get very depressed and they don't write again. This is a big mistake because there's so many reasons. First, they don't know if you wrote it or you stole it from somebody, and if they buy it from you, they're going to get sued. That's why they need agents. Second, they don't know, they want people who can continue working for them and bring things on the style that they are accustomed. So you bring an idea, they like it, but they don't know if it's yours or you cannot come with another one. So they reject it. But they ask you to bring another one. So once you bring another one and another one, they will buy the first one with no problem whatsoever. So that happens a lot. You do something, they don't buy it, don't get the press. They know what they're doing. They don't care about that particular piece. They care about the readers. Maybe you don't know the readers. They know the readers better, or the viewers, or whatever it is now with the computers. So you have to say, well, okay, I'm going to accept what you say, not take it as a rejection of your work, because it's not. It's a rejection of something that they need or they don't need. If you continue doing stuff in your own style, in what you do, and you think you're better than the guys before you, eventually they will buy it with no doubts, no doubts. But you have to stick to it. You have to continue and try to improve. Yes, no problem. But it happened a lot, things that you print and then you bring them again. Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, Sergio, this is a very interesting question here. It's not really a question, it's an observation from Mona Vijayakar. Hi, Mona. Nice to have you here with us. Mona says that, your humor resonates across generations. And that is something that, 83 is a very young age. I can see that on your face. How do you mean it? How do you manage to keep yourself relevant to the changing generations? Because jokes and times and situations and people change. So what is the secret there?
Just look at what they're wearing and use the same old gag, just change the clothes of what they're wearing then. And then you make it more. No.
Sergio, if I can,
yes, Mona.
Sergio, if I can get my sons to laugh at my jokes, that would be really something.
Yes.
And you managed to get the whole world to laugh.
Thank you. No, it's humor is universal. It transcends time, transcends everything. The only thing that changed, an example, is when I used to draw a secretary, we used to have a typewriter in front of her. But suddenly there were no more typewriters, there were computers. So once I put a computer, everybody starts saying, why is the secretary watching television? Because they couldn't associate yet. So I keep doing a bad look at secretary so I could do jokes about the changing from computers to, from typewriters to computers. But once the computer was generic and everybody knew about computers, I have never drawn a typewriter in my life anymore. But what changed was the object. The jokes about it has changed. In Mexico, we never learned how to type because that was a woman's job. So men would never type. Now kids are 3 years old. The typing is universal. It's a different perception of things. I cannot draw a woman doctor. Why? Because the minds of people think she's a nurse. So when you're doing a joke about a patient and a female doctor, without words, the first thing they think is, why is she a nurse doing that or something? Now, everybody's really getting used to female being doctor. So now you can do it with no problem. But a few years ago, you couldn't, because you will distract from the joke, because
Very
they will think
interesting.
something else, So these little things change completely.
Thank you.
It's very hard for me to draw now the telephone. Before it was comfortable. It was a big apparatus like these ones that I have on my desk still, But now these little things, I have to substitute everything for this. Alarm clocks, telephones, cameras, observer telescopes to watch the Andromeda strain. Everything is this.
Yeah.
And it's very confusing. So when I have to draw now masses, I used to draw a guy with a camera and people, but now I have to put everybody going like this, taking a picture. Everybody knows that the guy's taking a picture when it's like that. When it's like that, he's talking. When he's here like this.
Wow.
So there's little nuances on the graphics that goes with the times. So you have not you have to be careful not to become antiquated on your props. But the idea of the gag, I think, is universal. Don't you think, Mona? That's
absolutely, absolutely. No, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
This is so interesting. This is so. Who would have thought that you had to switch and use that same object in many different ways? That's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to be observant about it. You don't want to suddenly disappear off the field. You're going to be there with all the young people. I love what the young people are doing, and I observe and I say, oh, that's very interesting. I'm going to do it. I'm not copying him. I'm just taking from him what he knows better than I do. And I learn every day about things.
Sergio, you were mentioning that, people and observing people is so important. You enjoy that process. So do you consciously keep in touch, or, do you travel a lot? Do you meet people a lot? Like, do you enjoy that?
Yes, very much. I'm very fortunate that I have that traveling bug all my life since I was a very young man. And fortunately, one thing about Mad Magazine, every year until the publisher Bill Gaines passed away a few years ago, every year he will invite all the cartoonists, all the writers, the editors to a trip. We went overseas, many places. We went to African safaris, we went to Tahiti, we went to Greece, we went to Europe more than 20 times, all paid, fantastic. And you meet the people, you meet the cartoonists from there. And it's a way of community. So I have enjoyed that. My wife also loves to travel. And with the conventions now, as you know, Vaivo invites me to the Indian to go there many times, And
yes.
It has become very difficult because every country, not only country, every state of every country has a comic book convention. And when I was younger, I was more comfortable to travel. So I went to many of them. I went to Angoulême, to Lucca, to Spain, to many, many conventions. So I think that before the pandemic, I was flying overseas at least 2 or 3 times a year. So it's easy for me to say countries that I haven't been there, than the ones I've been there. Right. I love to meet the people. Oh, it's amazing.
Right. Okay,
so
we have Vaibhavji, we have a total of just a shot in the arm. We have a total of close to 170 people in attendance right now across Zoom as well as on YouTube. So yay for
wonderful.
that.
Lovely.
Hello, everybody.
In one such convention, you had met Osamu Tezuka as well.
Yes,
right.
We were talking about that.
Yes, Astro Boy.
Oh, I love Astro Boy. And what happened is that in one of the conventions in San Diego, I was walking and I look in a booth and there's this little man with a little beret and the glasses sitting all by himself with another Japanese man next to him. And I look at him and I look at the cartoons in the background and he was Dr. Tezuka. And I was, oh! I went to him and I couldn't talk. I was fan number 1, So I asked him and I knew all his work because I really have followed him since the beginnings in Mexico. And he was delighted, of course. And once I was talking to him, a lot of people started approaching, and I was telling them, "You don't know who this gentleman is. He's more famous than Walt Disney." And I was in the floor, in his knees, going like that. Ay, ay, ay. So I asked him if he could give me an autograph, you know. And what he did was this. I told you I was going to show you.
Oh, yes. Wow. Wow.
Ooh.
Wait, let me just spotlight. Wow. So that's Kimba. That's Kimba with Astro Boy.
Yes, and I know it's a cartoonist over there who's going to faint, because if he liked my T-shirt, he's going to like this. That was in 1980. 1980.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then I was invited to visit his studio and the museum that they have now. It is a great, great, great experience. Oh, what a great cartoonist. Oh. Oh my God.
So Sergio, here is a question that is doing the rounds. You know, a lot of people are interested in GRU.
Yes.
And you know, there are questions which are specific. There are questions about you know, the whole world that you have created there. So I'm going to start off one with Shaunak. Shaunak wants to know, I read a GRU comic where Witches Conclave has a massive GRU transformation. It was super chaotic to read. How do you think of this chaos? And I'm going to lead that on with another one from Chetan Sharma, a brilliant animator, one of our gems in Indian animation. Chetan wants to know about GRU and the whole world that you have created. He feels it's simply too brilliant. So
thank you, thank you.
Sergio, there he is. Chetan, once more.
Yes. Oh, good. Well, bravo. He's paying my mortgage. Yes.
Chetan, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
There he is. Yes.
Also, you see, I couldn't meet him ever, but I needed to have him on my wall. So I just took one of his drawings of with himself with Astro Boy, and I put it up. I mean, it's.
I look at him every day. You know, it's a great inspiration. Yes, indeed.
Incredible. And I think that your work on GRU, for example, I think ranks up there with all the best work that has ever happened in the comics world. and I love it to bits. And I think it's an inspiration for many of the things that we are also working on and developing. It's just that world is so beautiful, and you mentioned consistency and all the rest of it anyway. But it's like an upside down look on everything that is Conan the Barbarian or whatever. But somebody also mentioned the chaotic complexity of all that goes on. And I mean, for those who are not familiar, I mean, just the opening layouts themselves are priceless. The opening pages where
Chetan, you're going to show us?
Things are going on.
Gayatri, please peep in. Sergio, that's Gayatri saying hi to you. You know, Chetan and Gayatri have one of the oldest animation studios in India called Animagic.
And Gayatri is one of the few, if I'm not mistaken, Gayatri, the only artist who has from India trained at Walt Disney Studios in the US. So she was, very early on in life, she had that lovely opportunity. So hi, Gayatri, nice to have you guys here.
Yes, indeed.
So, Sergio, if you could take, if you give us a little insight on GRU.
I will.
Chetan, hold that steady.
Yeah.
I was looking for a piece of paper. Oh, my God.
Okay.
This is good. Oh, my God.
This is just one example. Every one of these stories has got some spread which is mind-blowing in all that goes on. Like, if you like the mad marginals and everything, it is all of that distilled into this crazy world. And you can keep looking at this page for hours. It's like an entire episode of a cartoon film just sitting there in that one page. I mean, you can just talk about GRU for the next hour, and I'll be just...
I will show you some drawings that they have not been out yet. that I'm working on right now. So, but what happened with Gru is that I like comic books. I wasn't a big fan of them because I like other things besides the comics. I was never into superhero comics. Sadly, they never appealed to me. But humor comics, they did. And in Mexico, we didn't get that many American comics except Donald Duck. We get, what's her name? Little Lulu, you know, which is, you don't see her, but I have it over there.
By
it's
March.
A Little Lulu over there. And,
Yes,
March.
in the frame.
But many cartoons on humor. So that part, we had some Mexican called the Super Sabios and different ones that they were in humor, and I like it a lot. But in the United States, while I was there was no humor comics. They were funny animal comics, they were teenager comics, they were, but humor, there was no one, except when the Underground came out and there was a different subject that I was already too old to participate, about drugs and about that modern stuff. There was not my style. So, but that was humor. And I took a trip to Europe for 2 years to meet European cartoonists. This is in the 60s. I wanted to meet all the people who did Pilot and all my heroes too, which I had the honor to meet many of them. So while I was there, I realized that in Europe, like in many parts of the world, humor comics are prevalent. They like it, they sell very well, and young people like to read them, and then they go into other things. So I figured out, this is what I want to do. I want to do humor comics. So I was walking one day in Paris and says, okay, I have to do a comic about things that they don't have. And I realized, oh, I have a brilliant idea. I'm going to do the twin brother of Tarzan. Tarzan, it was not only one, it was twins. And one was very stupid, and he was not raised by monkeys, he was raised by whatever other animal. Oh my, what a great idea. He's going to screw up everything, and all the animals are going to hate him. I thought I had the perfect character. And I walk in, and in a movie house, there's Tarzan, that's the silly Tarzan. And it was already an animated movie done by a French cartoonist. So that idea went away, you know. So while I was there, I realized that they were not barbarian comics. And I was a fan of Asterisk, you know, about the little guys.
Yes.
And I figured out, that's so clever, so well done. All the characters belong to each other. I have to do something, but it has to have, because I'm very lazy about drawing cars and buildings and trains and things. So I figured out barbarians can have dragons, magic, witches, everything. Yeah. So I started thinking about that. See, in Europe, like in Japan, the cartoonist is the owner of the copyright. When they go to Pilot or to any of the other magazines, they bring the idea with them and says, we have this idea. He's the writer, I'm the writer. The other one says, I'm a writer, artist. Each one has his own way. They will publish it, and the copyright belongs to them. So whatever decisions have to be made, they have to be their decision. If monies have to be made, they could be shared equally. So I says, that's it. I'm going to do it the European way. So when I arrived to the States, I went to the companies and said, I want to publish my comic book, but I want to own the copyright. And all of them said, no. That doesn't happen in the United States. The company owns the copyright. It says, you cannot own the copyright. This is what the author has. No. It took me all the way to 1983 to have published. More than 12 years trying to sell Gru.
My God.
Well, they didn't know it was Gru because I wasn't going to tell them. I told them I had a very funny comic book, and they didn't want to give me the rights, so I didn't even tell them what it was all about. Until Pacific Comics came out and says, we publish it, you owe the rights. And many of the artists, Neil Adams, Joe Kubert. Many artists went with this company called Pacific and start publishing. And that's the moment the big companies decide, hey, we can do that. So I published about 8 issues with Pacific, 1 with Eclipse, and then Marvel created a new title for them to use and share the copyright with the actor, you know? So then we did 120 issues of Gru.
Yeah.
With no help, just Mark Evanier, who helps me with English and he's like my editor. He comes with ideas for plots and stuff. He's just an invaluable friend. So, and collaborator. Stan Sakai, who does Usagi Yojimbo, he did the lettering and he still does it.
Yeah.
And Tom Luft, who does the color. We never missed a deadline in 10 years with Marvel. Not once, the 4 of us. And we still do it. We still do it with Pacific. So Gru continues. And I think the success is that, talking about anachronisms, we take modern problems and translate them to the old times. We have done comics about gurus, about modern art, about garbage, about anything, subject. Television, it took me 1 year to think the plot for that. I says, I have to make fun of television, but what? And suddenly you're watching TV and there's a puppet show. Oh, look, a puppet show. So I went to Mark and says, I have it. We're going to do it with the puppets and the marionette. He loved it because he knows everything about TV.
Yeah.
We did jokes about TV dinners, about the television using toys to make animation.
Yeah.
Everything that happened
Sergio,
on TV,
you have that little marionette there, right? That wooden puppet that you had created.
Oh, the glue thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it's here.
There is a little Gru that Sergio has
happened is
sculpted as a little puppet.
Henry. That's Henry.
I think many publishers are no more, but
toys.
Gru still lives on.
In all the world, this toy exists.
Yes.
In Mexico, in Peru, all over, Russia, name it, and they have this fantastic, simple twist on the strings here. It's just fantastic. Look at that. You can be entertained for hours about it. So I figured out that I did do Gru. So I did one, and I carved this Gru. You know, and it's going to do the same things with these bars. You know, once I put it on the bar, you know, I'm just going to go whoa, whoa, whoa. So I carve it while I'm thinking ideas, and this one is mechanical. You have to be patient. I get very excited. Oh,
lovely.
I tried to figure out what would be the smallest I could do. So I did a Ruferto.
Wow.
Very tiny one. See?
That's before he grew up.
Yeah, this is Ruferto. This is a little miniature thing. But this guy, what happened is that the sword, oh, be patient with me. I mean,
yes, Sergio.
It's here it is. This goes like this.
It's so exciting to see these little gems that you're pulling out.
Okay, this is part of the sword of Gru, of course, and it goes in here, which is a mechanism that I devised. It goes in here.
Sergio, could you hold it slightly higher? Yeah. Oh, lovely.
It goes like this, you know, inside the thing of Gru, you know, a little thing, and then this is the cover of it. So when Gru is upside down, the sword will fall out.
Oh yeah.
It will fall in and out. It's all, once it's glue, it'll be fine. But I enjoy things like that because it gives you a break. You know, this Batman, boom, 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 boom. But it's a, you cannot draw all the time. You cannot think jokes all the time. You have to take a break.
Yes.
But a break that doesn't take too far away from the creation of things.
Yes.
So I do that. I entertain myself here while I have to take a break. So my head is when I watch television while I'm working. But I don't watch new things. I watch very old movies because I know them by heart. So I'm listening to them, and then I go and look, and my eye go from here, distance, whoop, to the TV, whoop. So it's an exercise. I start wearing glasses at 70.
Wow.
So it's a practice. It's a good exercise.
Sergio, the timeline for you is something different. It's not what it is for us.
No, well,
you're a different species.
I work until very late hours, but I wake up late too. I wake up at 10 and 11, no problem. You know, and but I go to bed whenever I am tired or my wife gets tired of calling me. Sergio, come over. I have to run to
Okay,
bed.
Sergio, there's another interesting question here. Why did you, this from Arga Sen Gupta, another artist, lovely and involved in teaching these days. Why did you name the main protagonist Gru?
Oh, very good question. I wanted to have a barbarian name. So believe me or not, I spend a lot of time going, making noises to see what was a good name for it, you know. And one of them was like Gru, G-R-O. It sounded perfect. So I went to every telephone directory to see if there was any person called Gru, and I didn't find any. So I said, that's a perfect name, Gru. So I called him Gru, and once it was published, we got about 10 letters of Gru people that they were called Gru. One of them was a criminal that was in jail. The other one lived in the hometown that I live in, Ojai, and he has a drugstore, and his name was Gru. Of all people, you know.
After all that research you did.
Yes, just amazing. So that was basically the reason I wanted to give it a barbarian name, Gru. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's Argo.
That is Argo, our friend Arga, who just asked you that question.
Argo, hello. Well, in Finland, Argo is called Urhu. I don't know what Gru means in Finnish, but it must be a dirty world.
Okay, there's some interesting questions that are coming, and they're really coming out of the woodwork now. One from Harshvardhan. Do you do digital drawing, or is it all paper, pencil, or pen?
All paper and pencil.
All paper and pencil.
I pencil. This is a page I'm working right now. You know.
Wow.
So I work in paper. I use fountain pens because when I'm drawing, I like movement. And with a dipping pen, you cannot go like that. And with a pen, I can, because of the speed of the silliness. I don't make mistakes because I use the mistake. If suddenly it's a line up, instead to put the arm down, I put the arm up, you know, because the line is there, you know. So I use the mistakes. Talking about the marginals, this is the size I drew them for them. I send them 4 pages with marginals like that, you know.
Wow. And then they get further reduced.
They choose whatever they need. And then next issue, I should send them more. I send 3 pages like that. So basically, can you see them?
Yes.
Slightly lower. Perfect. Yes.
Superb.
So this is basically it. You know, it's how I draw. The math pages are drawn larger because the magazine deserves a larger thing. This is the one of the latest issue of Mad was dedicated to Al Jaffe.
Yeah.
So wow. I did a mad look at Al Jaffe.
Love it.
ऑनलाइन चालू है वैभव कुमरेश who's that lady?
Could you please
someone has to
mute your mics, please mute your mics.
Moreji.
I look at Jaffe.
Yes, he is another crazy artist.
Thank you so much.
Sergio, how was it, collaborating with all these mad people? Were you constantly in touch together? Would you brainstorm together, exchange notes? How was it?
No, no.
No?
There's two types, like Don Martin, Al Jaffe, Antonio Proias, myself. We come with our own ideas. So we don't intermix with anybody. Everybody works at home. Before, everything that was happening in New York. So in the 60s and 70s, we lived in New York, and we went to the office, and you show your work, and then they say yes, and then you do it, and then you get paid. But the other people have to use the writers, written by Frank Jacobs, illustrated by somebody else. So they had to collaborate.
Right.
And they will, the magazine will give them an idea. We're going to do a takeoff on The Godfather. They thought it was a very good idea, so they tell the writer, you have to write a 4-page article about The Godfather. So he'll go see the movie, broad ideas, and then they will assign a cartoonist. Usually it was Mort Drucker, who was an excellent caricaturist, and he will draw the piece, and then they publish it. With our case, we have to think the ideas and we'll bring it to them. And Will Cole says, how would you like a mad look at cars? And they didn't think about it. So what I did, this was published. I went outside and took pictures. Well, my daughter took the pictures of me looking at cars. So it's called A Mad Look at Cars. And all the pictures that I sent is me looking at cars like this, little car, Jeeps, expensive cars. And then the note was that I wrote to the editor saying, better stick to drawing. So then I did that 3 or 4 pages about me looking at cars, but the cartoons about cars. But that idea, it worked, And that was suggested to me by Mark. One day he says, hey, you have to do that idea. It was great. That worked. That was one of the first suggestions that I worked with. That was great. Oh, that was
Sergio, how do you, there's lovely questions that are coming in, and I'm going to just shoot them off one after the other. There is somebody called Figer Peg 2. Okay, interesting name.
Iger. Hello, Iger.
I would like to know how you handle artist block. Do you ever get artist block? And if you do, no? Okay. Next question.
Perfect.
Next question.
No. Let me say why.
Yes.
When you're writing, let's say, a television show, or you're writing a novel, you can get writing show because you are preoccupied to do it better. So you have suddenly a dialogue between a man and a woman on a coffee house, and it's not going the way you want. If that's the only thing you're doing, you're going to have a mental block because that's not coming. And you're going to worry a lot, and then you're going to go, oh my God, I don't get the idea, I get a mental block. But with us, we cannot get a mental block because if I'm not doing mad and I don't get the idea that's bothering me, I have an idea about Al Jaffe doing this and it doesn't work. So I take it, I start drawing it, glue. And if I get a glue block, I start carving my knives. So nice. I cannot get it because after my mind is clear and I get the idea. So the only suggestion is don't fret about it. It's logical. You are concentrating in doing it better. So forget about it. Do something else. It will come. There's no. Don't even worry. Of course, the mental block can happen because you're trying to improve something. It says, no, that's not a good ending. You have to think of a good ending. But I don't think past that. I go on something else until I'm like that. Boom, the idea comes. But don't worry about it. Really.
Harish wants to know what is one of the most challenging work that you have faced so far? Anything that comes to mind?
Well, yes, there's subjects. I've done a lot of the movies also. I've done Star Wars and I've done many mad satires without words for mad. And then they asked me to do one with a very funny comedian who wrote Young Frankenstein, It's one of the very clever American writers, comedians, and Young Frankenstein, and the 12 Chairs, and the producers. I forget his name right now. But anyway, he did a movie about silent movie or something, and it was a pantomime movie. And suddenly they asked me to do it, and I sat there thinking, I says, I cannot do this. This is a movie about pantomime, and how can I pantomime in a movie? That's what I do. So if I can do it, you know, no matter how I break my brain, I says, I cannot do something that is already that funny, and not being able to do satire on the actors or on the producer or on the viewer. I had to do it about the material, and it was impossible because it was a pantomime thing.
Yeah. This is Mel
That's what I
Brooks.
do.
This is
Mel Brooks. Thank you very much. Yes. So I couldn't do it. So that was a stump to me. But the others, again, if I don't think on the right word, I just skip it and do it later, you know, doing something else. Yeah.
Tony ji,
Yes.
I have a small query. Like
Yes.
Sergio has also, been into the medium of animation, where his
Right.
characters have come alive. So, is there any difference when you have that additional element of movement? Like so far, you've not even used words. You've gone totally, you know, pantomime and still images. When you go into moving images with words, like how does that change of medium help? What new stuff does it bring to you?
Animation is not, there's a few animators who are themselves, they think the idea, they draw themselves, and they are recognized by what they do as a single author. There's an American guy, which again at my age I keep forgetting the names, but he's a very good animator who does these things that he changes the faces and it goes.
Is that Bill Plimpton?
Mr. Plimpton, yes.
Yes.
How you call it? Plimpton G.
Plimpton G.
He is just amazing man. He can do all that by himself. And there was in the beginning people like they did the thing with a dinosaur. He created all. He sat there and did thousands of.
Right. Harry Hosson.
No, Winsor McKay.
Winsor McKay.
Okay.
So that can be done, but animation is a group work. Like this, you can do it better, and you can do more complicated things. I love the animation that Bible sent me about the little orange little thing, with chase. That was so clever. Yeah, was that written by you?
Yes, and our colleagues, we had pitched that idea to Cartoon Network.
But that was fantastic. I mean, each one was better than the other one. I says, okay, that'll be the last. No, there's another one. Because it's about the same thing. It was really exceptional. I realized that the voices are like the Minions, you know, like the Minion type of voices. But it was a great animation, very good. Yeah. Well, going to back what I did, I have always used somebody else too. When I did animation for a show called Laughing, it was a very popular show in television called Laugh In, with many actors about comedies and that. So I was hired to do some of the writing with a pantomime actors and the things to divide the shows. And I hired a gentleman who eventually became the owner of his own company called Hoyt Yateman, excellent animator, but special effect man. He had a company called, I forget the name. But he did what's called front screen projection. You know, you have the film and then you have the characters in it, and then you rotoscope each character, so you can put it on the movie. So we did animation for that, and the reason I hired is I want you to teach me everything about animation. So we have to do all kinds of animation. I had carte blanche to do anything I wanted. So I learned with little figurines moving. I did people on animation. I did animation by itself, and it worked great. I learned a lot, and we did it. But it was a collaborative effort.
Right.
The style was my style, of course. Right. And then I did a show called TV bloopers and practical jokes. That was a very small segments to divide the parts of the show. And the way we work that, I will have a meeting Friday with the producers. They told me what they needed. I will go home, work Friday night, do a little few second segments. I will go to an animation studio and they will time it for me because I didn't have the time to, which is the most important part of animation, is your timing. So I will draw it straight. You know, the guy will walk and do something, no timing, and they will time it. They will say, oh, this 2 doesn't work. You need 5 more here, and this doesn't work. But by the mid-Saturday, we had it cells and colored. Then it went filmed, transfer, and Monday I delivered. From Friday to Monday.
Wow, that's fast.
All the segments. But it was all the people working together,
Right.
you know, and it was a lot of fun. So I've done a few things. I did some titles for Mexico for a movie, 2 movies of the same characters. But you know, they are the introduction of like the Pink Panther type of thing. So that worked very nice.
Sergio, you've got some tribute to you. I'm going to show it on my phone. I don't know whether you guys can see it. That is Weber More, one of a brilliant, artists, animation directors.
Wow.
Yes. Wow, thank you. Hey. That's very good. Well,
And
that's me and my pens. Yes.
That's you and your pens. And we've got PJ who has sent another one. I don't know whether this is visible.
Oh, I am an old fart. Look at that. Yes, very good.
Tony just hold it there. Yes, I'm spotlighting.
Very good. And I see my T-shirt too. Yes. Very good. Very nice.
Some more questions. Sergio, how are you on time? I know time has flown today, and
I have plenty of time, so you're gonna continue, please.
All right, lovely, excellent. So here goes. There's some lovely more questions for you.
Well, let me show you before you continue.
Oh
Let
yes,
me show
please.
Sergio, we also
this is just yes.
We also want to see you draw something. You know, we want to see that ink pen in action whenever you.
Sure. No problem. All this is only 2 issues of glue. All the process.
Oh.
It has.
That is awesome.
The first. I'm out? Oh, no.
No, you're there.
First, glue. I don't know if you can see it.
Slightly higher.
Yes,
perfect.
Yes,
Lighting is perfect now.
I write it like this, you know, first words of what's going to happen, you know, words, what's going to happen.
Wow.
Then from there, I'll draw it in a very quick form, like that, the story. For me, I'm developing what I did before, right? And then I redraw it again this way for Mark. See?
Okay.
It's the same thing I did before, but now it's clearer on the dialogue. You know, so then I do all that 24 pages like that. And then when that's done, it gets done on the pages. You know, let me.
Lovely. Thank you, COVID. You know, it's such a boon.
Then what I do is it gets sent to Stan. I drew it in blue pencil. And I send it to Stan Sakai.
Right.
And I miss when Mark finishes, I send him those drawing on the paper like that. He sends this, he makes it like this.
Okay.
And send it to Stan.
Right.
To put the dialogues, right? And then Stan, I draw the page draw the characters very loose. So Stan send it to me like that.
Okay.
And then what I do is I go to that. I put the round things.
Right. Right.
And because Mark changes sometimes the expression of what he says, I change the expression of the guy. So then what I do is I start partially inking the story. Oh, I have to put this in order later.
So, Sergio, is it
anyway,
the same paper that
then
gets?
I get pages like this. See?
There you go.
Wow.
And this is a sample with a ship, you know?
Ah.
Wow.
Can you be seen?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes. Yes, we can.
Because I don't hear you anymore.
You
You don't hear us?
no. I think he's removed the
Oh.
earplugs.
I don't hear you. Oh, oh, you guys don't know how to. Oh, sorry about that. No, I can't hear you.
Perfect.
Anyway, so this is how the whole process gets.
So the same page,
With,
does the same page go back and forth? Do you physically exchange it, or are they different sheets?
No. From the only time it goes to Stan a physical page so he can letter it.
Okay.
But then it's for the computer.
Ah, okay.
Scan it and send it back. And architecture has helped for the proportions of buildings and things like that, you know.
Right.
But I was going to show you. Well, and it goes on and on, you know. So that's the issue that I'm working on with the other pages, and then the comic gets done, and once it's all finished, I Xerox it to have a reference and show you some of the pages that I done that, for instance, about battles. And things that happen, you know, like pages like that, you know.
Wow.
So
This is that ink pen, Sergio, which you use?
I use a Pelicans, and I use this one, which is a Mont Blanc. It has a very thick line, which I like a lot. But now I'm using a little pen called Lame.
Okay. Lame,
who are very practical. But the ink that I use is a Japanese ink. It's quite expensive, but it's so dark and so beautiful. It's called carbon ink.
Ah, okay. Wow.
Wow.
And that's from Japan. But nowadays with a computer, you can ink with a pencil if you feel like it, because then you scan it and tell the scanner, become black, and it becomes black. You know? What happens? I don't understand, but it becomes black. So you don't have to worry that much. And also a great advantage with these massive drawings or pages is that I have the originals.
Right.
And people would like to buy them, and people will exhibit them in museums.
Right.
And it's, I think, the only inheritance that I can leave to my family eventually is all these pages.
Sergio, there is a museum like in your hometown, right? Like which features your work, dedicated to your work.
It did my work, yes. That was great to see people coming. Oh, this is the page I wanted to show you. That's in issue number 2 of Gods Against Guru.
Okay. Slightly higher? Yes.
It's a storm going there.
Wow.
And then all the gods are watching everything. And that's many different gods from different regions.
Yeah. Lovely.
How long did it take to do this page?
Probably 60 years.
Serves you right. Serves you right, Chetan. Chetan serves you right.
I don't do it all at once. I do a page a day, and then when I finish, I do a little on this. So it will take probably a month, but it doesn't take a month. It will take much less. But I do a little, of this phase. The telephone rings. I take the page. Oh, hello, Scott. Yeah, blah 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 blah, and I start linking, and then I go back to my work. But many of these gods are reference. There's a lady from India. Maybe you can recognize.
Slightly higher.
Little
Sergio,
higher.
little
Hold
higher.
it a little higher, please.
Oh, yes.
The one that I'm pointing
Yes,
here.
yes, yes. She looks like Durga. Slightly
I
higher, Sergio. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, and so I go to the computer. Says, computer, show me images of Indian goddesses, and there they are, beautiful, magnificent representations. So I take a little of that, and I put a little things. I have Ganesha someplace there. I love things like that. But
Lovely.
so you learned from all the cultures.
Right.
You apply into your work. This is a god that's basically like in Bhutan,
Right.
So it's I don't know.
Right.
And once you do, then you send these pages to the publisher, and the comic is done. And what you try to do is try to never to be late, which is what's important,
Very true.
because
Very
they have responsibilities.
Very true.
And to draw, let me just get some pieces of paper. You can continue asking questions.
Yes. Yes. No, we will be silent because we want to watch you draw.
I don't know how to draw and do it on the computer.
And I remember Sergio has once told us that he does not teach. He doesn't know how to teach. He will learn. He'll keep on learning, but he doesn't like to teach.
But I think I can echo the sentiments of what PJ has said, that today is Teachers' Day. And I think this is the best celebration of Teachers' Day that we could ever have.
Wow.
Thank you. No, I can see you work, and I can get you an opinion of where you're going. That I can do very well. I can see, well, this is what you should do, or this is my opinion of where you can go with it. But teaching somebody to be funny, I cannot do that. I don't know how.
Very true.
So, and to draw, they say, well, I am fast. How can we do this? Probably like that. Oh, I have a tool here that is a very old invention. It's called a tablet here. See? You go like this. Can you see?
Yes.
And they say, well, you fast. It says, well, of course. Can you see what I'm doing?
Not
I
yet.
haven't done it yet. No, of course not. But can you see the place?
You're so fast. We couldn't see.
Yeah. You want to see it again? No, no. So for instance, as fast, because when I do a presentation or when I'm talking in public, you draw something fast because I've drawn it many times.
Yeah.
But as you can see on the drawing, I spend a lot of time drawing. So
Right.
the speed helps you with the style. For instance, when they ask you, okay, so they go like this.
Wow.
Why? Because I've done it a million times. I do it much better if I'm doing it over there, but you can see basically.
Right.
So this is the guy from
Yes.
Mad.
Is he called Alfred Newman?
Alfred Newman. Yeah.
Newman.
See, there's no mistakes because you use the mistakes.
Right.
There's no. So you do that, and everybody says, "Oh, how fast he's!" Of course, I've done it a million times. What do you expect? And they grew. Imagine, so simple. You go like that, and then they had like this, and the swords. not only I learned how to draw Japanese swords, I built a couple of them, miniatures, and I have a few books of how the swords are made.
Wow.
So I'm very familiar with Japanese weaponry.
Right. And some of your,
You know.
wow, those accessories they wear have intricate carvings on them. I'm sure you must have carved them yourself in wood as well.
I have done a few. I have a few swords too, that I bought in Japan, of course.
Wow.
But basically, that will be Gru, drawing fast, and Ruferto will be something. Can you see it there? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Could be something. By the way, Ruferto, the guy who is the company of Gru, it's my dog. It was my dog.
Okay.
He lasts 20 years, so
Wow.
that's his Ruferto. Hello, doggy. Hello, hello, hello. Little dog. Hello. Well, it's like drawing a storyboard for animation, you know,
Right.
just go on and draw whatever you feel like it. You know.
Ah,
So
oh, wow.
it's something that comes natural, and you do
Right.
it. The more you do it, the
Right.
better you become at it. There's no
Right.
mystery on that, you know.
Right.
I think I have a picture of my dog. Wait. Oh no, it's
Wow.
too complicated to me.
I just want to add that, you know, Sergio also has an award named after him, and he's also the founder of CAPS, which is the Comic Art Professional Society. That also is like a voluntary society where, you know, all the artists. Sergio wanted. There were a lot of rules which were sorted for certain fields, like animation had its own copyrights or, you know, protection for the artists. But according to Sergio, in the comic art industry, there wasn't enough recognition given to the other artists. So even to encourage like lettering artists or inking or coloring artists. That's the award.
Little higher, Sergio.
That's the award.
You could move a little back. You could move back a little bit.
CAPS.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Oh, that's him.
Awesome.
And that's that it was carved, and that's supposed to be me. Hello, see, hey. And I have a pen, and in my
Yes.
back pocket, I have a Mad magazine.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
So it has my ponytail. It's I have a ponytail. You know.
Right. Sergio,
So
did you carve
Welcome
this
to
one
the
as
show, Sergio.
Yeah, there's
Huh?
one more. Tony ji, once more. Wait, I'll spotlight you. Tony ji.
Very good. Yeah,
You have
mine was
company.
large, but I had to have it a little shorter. One day I'll be G and I'll have it longer.
Sergio ji.
Sergio, there's a lovely question here, which you've talked so much about all the people that you've collaborated with. So give us a little insight on the relationship between an artist as a cartoonist and a writer. I mean, is there anything that cartoonists should, if they're not writing their own stuff, or even if they are writing and they're sending it out for publication, obviously there's going to be a lot of to and fro that happens. So
yes, relationship with people are very important in the sense that if you are very good at drawing and you are not very good at writing, you should take writing lessons, or if you think that it will be easier for you to draw all the time and find a good writer. Don't find a friend, find a good writer. Because if he's not as good as you are depending on friendship instead of the quality of the work. You become friends later because it's a very close relationship. You know, you work together and you become good friends. And in case with Mark and I, we work together in so many things and that, you know, and he's like a brother of mine. I love that man dearly because he's sensational. He understands me better than my wife, you know. I mean, it's just sensational. And if you're a very good writer, don't draw anything. You're not an artist. Look for a good artist that represents what you're writing. not your friend or your neighbor that is your buddy. Oh, you draw, that's a very good drawing. You draw my. No, no, don't ruin your writing. You can ruin a career by using a friend that is not that good.
Right.
But if he's a very good, yes, please do. I'd rather have a, but you have to be a good artist or a good writer. So you make a team. And if you see that you work together very well, without any discrepancies, that everything is like one, then you have it, you know? And if you don't want to have a partner, if you're a very good artist, learn how to write. And if you think that you can draw well, practice more what you are not good at. And eventually you can have it, you know? It is very hard for me to write words.
Right.
Because I really don't have the time to compose or to go through a vocabulary to express what I can express with a drawing. That's what I do, and that's what Mark is indispensable for Gru. He has made all the words that Gru has, and that written humor that I don't possess, much less in English. You know, so that was I couldn't do it on English. You know. Oh, and that's another carving I have. I have this one hanging on my lamp.
Oh,
Can you see it?
yes,
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 yes, lovely. Sergio, what is the time there right now?
Over there?
Yes.
It's 11 o'clock. So we have another hour. If you want.
Ah!
But no, I don't think we should keep you
It's 12 o'clock.
away for yes.
Yes.
So it's we have a special, like we planned last time. PJ is going to play happy birthday to you. It's Sergio's
maybe.
birthday now. And
Tomorrow.
So,
yeah,
guys, yeah, we can actually unmute a lot of you, so we can all sing and play together a very happy birthday to Sergio.
Yes.
So, here we
Awesome.
go, Sergio. On the count of 1,
you
2,
give a pitch, PJ.
3.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Yogi. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
Happy birthday, Sergio. Happy birthday, Sergio. Happy birthday. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
Happy birthday.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Lovely, lovely. That was superb.
Yes.
What a sweet fun. I saw very little, but I feel so privileged.
Oh,
Who is this? Who is this?
Yeah, happy birthday, sir.
Okay, let me very, very quickly. Oh wow, let me spotlight this.
Let's see that.
Like this.
Awesome.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh. Lovely, lovely. That was painful for you.
Amazing.
Okay, I'm going to spotlight everyone very, very quickly. Sergio, you were mentioning something about love for your work. I think it'll be apt to end with that. You know, while I'm going to spotlight everyone as you know, that's Nikhil in the US, right?
hey,
Lovely.
thank you, thank you.
That's Weber More, who made the first caricature of yours.
With the pen.
Very good, thank
Yes.
you.
And he's also a committee member of the Animation Society of India. You've met Mona.
Mona, yes. Thank you.
There's
Hi.
Mahipal
I
Oh,
from
the
Mumbai.
Phantom. You like the Phantom, huh?
Who
You
doesn't?
know that let me interrupt. When I visit Bhutan, I went to visit the High Lama, and in one of the on the zone where he lived, many floors away, and in the back, he had cut out little strips of the Phantom, and to me that was amazing. That the leader, the religious leader of a whole country, his inspiration was the Phantom.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Amazing. Amazing.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely.
More people. Yes.
More people.
coming
So
up, coming up.
Vaibhav ji, go for it.
I'll do that. Technology.
Somebody has Alfred Newman on the back.
That's Manish, the creator.
Yes.
The Amul butter campaign in India, so popular.
Love your work, Manish. Love your work. We must do a session with you as well. That would be really awesome.
Well, tell them to
Sergio,
run
I'm a
with this
huge
one.
Sorry.
Hello, Pratek.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Sergio.
Guys, I'm
Mayur,
going one by one on the gallery view, so I'm struggling here a bit. And wow, there is a lovely look at this. Dapun. Happy birthday, Sergio G. You've been baptized.
Happy birthday.
Officially baptized. But Dapun, can you
Oh
show
my
your
goodness.
face?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Big fan.
Thank you.
Big
Thank
fan.
you.
Yeah.
And there is Shaibani.
Shaiboni.
Hi, Shaibani. Nice to see you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow.
Who is this? That's Pushkar.
Pushkar is from.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Baruch
whoever
Shukriya,
had
my
their
friend.
camera on,
You missed Mayur, I think. Let me see if
Mayur
I can spotlight.
oh
him.
yes, everybody's switching on their cameras now. That's lovely. That's Sutana. She's an animation student from Kolkata.
Ah, very glad to meet you. And keep working. That's the secret.
Yes,
Never give up.
is another mad guy on screen. Saksham Arora.
Hi, Saksham.
Hey,
Saksham.
there's another.
Glad to meet you.
That's your artwork.
Whoa.
I
It
love
was
my
much
pen.
better. I couldn't see it that well.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Wow.
Hey, there's another artwork which I'm going to spotlight right now. That's by Saksham. Oh, live as you were speaking.
Yes, very good. Thank you, my friend. Saksham.
And
Saksham
there is Stanley, who I'm going to spotlight right
That's
now.
a lovely young girl.
Sergio,
there.
that's all mad.
Wow.
I wish
That's
I
all
could show
mad.
you.
Thank you for all the wonderful drawings that you've done, the way you entertained us so
Thank
many
you, my friend.
years. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's Parthi.
Parthi. Hello. Parthi.
And there is Senjuti.
Sanjuti
Hello.
Chakraborty. Chakraborty?
Yes, I'm a
Chakraborty.
student as well. This is so good. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. My pleasure. I'm glad you enjoy it, guys.
There's Orgo once again. He's the
Yes,
teacher
Orgo.
of some of the students we saw. And back
What
to
a noble
Chetan and
profession.
Gayatri.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Lovely.
Sergio G.
There you go. Thank you. Did you enjoy the things with Gru that I show?
They were brilliant,
Obviously.
and I would just love to see them in person. They're just mind blowing. I won't be stopping talking about this for I don't know how long. It's a blessing. I can't say that's anything less than a blessing. Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure, son. My pleasure.
Sergio, I think you've taken out so much time, and thank you so much. I know you're not tired at all.
No, as soon as we finish, I will just continue working.
Wow,
until
but
2 or 3.
Won't there be numerous messages pouring in now, and won't you be bombarded with phone calls and from relatives, friends?
I don't answer them.
Lovely,
I don't answer. I have a list of the people that I have to talk, and the rest, I'm sorry, I cannot really do it because there's so many from all over.
Okay, so I think I should very quickly spotlight Manish again, because he has written something for you. So Manish, you are in spotlight,
Yeah, I'm
but
in space, correct.
in silhouette.
That's okay. Yeah, I know. I'll read it out.
Okay.
So this is a tribute to Sergio, inspired by Frank Jacobs. On Teachers' Day, we were blessed to have dear Sergio as our guest. With the maddest of the mad, so many laughs we have had. Here's to the fastest draw in the West. Thank you very much, Sergio.
Woo!
Thank you. But it's not the fastest. That's just for show.
Okay, the best draw in the West.
Yeah.
My friends. So, well, Tony G, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me with your
Well,
with you, Guru.
Sergio G, I think we can officially call us, you Sergio G, and you deserve the moniker more than anyone else that I know. Definitely
No,
not
no.
me.
Ah,
Absolute pleasure to have had you here with us, and we would love to have more such sessions with you in the future. Let whatever you have shared with us today, let that sink in, because I think people are still going to take some time to get over the initial shock of
well,
all the exciting stuff that you have shown, and for it to like kind of settle down. And actually, I think I know a lot of us must be pinching ourselves, saying, "Have I really been in this meeting with Sergio?" And so
oh,
let's not tempt fate. Let's not give an opportunity to weak hearts to kind of give way. Let's recuperate a little from this fantastic session that you have
oh,
given us
thank you.
today.
Thank you.
Sam,
As
thank you so much.
well, and don't forget that you can watch many things more. Like in YouTube, they have a lot of interviews that I done with oh my God, Stanley. He did an interview, a long one, and that was a very good one. And I gave a lecture in with oh, I'm so happy with you guys. My mind is so there's a lot of things that you can continue watching and watching, you know. And again, Bahut Shukriya.
Muchas gracias.
Bahut Shukriya, my friend.
Dhanyavad, gracias.
Muchos gracias is what we can reply with. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Oh,
you,
much.
my
Sergio.
pleasure. My
And
pleasure.
I'll share you this entire chat, which is developing on the side. I'll mail it to you. You can read it at
That'd
leisure.
be great.
There's
Yes.
so much being shared by all your friends over here. So thank you so much, Sergio. You're part of the Animation Society of India now, and we
Yay.
should keep collaborating in whatever way. Like if you want to recommend other friends that that should definitely we should view their journeys. Please do share. Your colleagues or people that you admire. We would want to have them on board as well.
We'll do this
Kadri ji,
in
mute rakhiye.
a couple of years again to see where our careers are going.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And
Definitely.
we really look forward to that. Thank you once again. You have a wonderful birthday and a wonderful
I will.
life, going strong at a young age of 83.
Live long.
You make us
Sergio.
envious. Yay.
Yes. Salute, Sergio, from all
Sergio,
of
live
us.
long.
Bye, Sergio, from all of
Bye-bye,
us.
bye-bye.
From all of
Yes,
us.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday once again,
Sergio.
and see you
Thank
soon.
you so
much.
Bye-bye.
And for everybody out here, thank you once again. I know this was absolutely on the money. Brilliant session with a fantastic artist. And what infectious energy. I mean, he's kind of given us a reason and hope and excitement to, get cracking and get back at, whatever we love to do. So thank you once again. The recording of this session is going to be on YouTube. So please feel free to share it. And do spread the word about the Animation Society of India so that, and of course, some of you here, where is my friend Galaxy? Galaxy, we need you here back on Earth. We want to do a session with you. And Vaibhavji, I mean, that's on you now. You have to somehow chase
Yes.
this star and get him, to come and share his
I'm
work
sure.
with us.
Definitely. I'm trying to find where is Manish. Manish, are you there?
Here, Galaxy, there he is.
I'm there.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Lovely. Yes, we'll coordinate with Manish definitely. And like another very important announcement, equally exciting. Please block 19th of September because another amazing person is going to join us, and his name happens to be Peter Lord from Aardman Studios.
Kya baat hai?
He will be sharing his journey with us on the 19th of September. So we will share the details very soon. So we are hoping that, we have this lovely experience with these beautiful people from all across the globe, and Jai Corona for that.
Yes, I just like to sign off with one request. I know there are some fantastic, accomplished artists here. And this is all about community. This is what community is all about. And, we would love to, for you, rather than us, a few of us, are mad enough to kind of spend time, effort, energy to find out who are the people that we want to bring on board and provide the platform. Ultimately, this society belongs to the community. And if you have something that you'd like to share, if you feel that there is something that you can bring out there what people can learn, enjoy, and experience, please get in touch with us. We'll organize a session. That's the least that we can do. I think it's a huge learning experience for all of us, and we all get to learn something or the other. So if you have friends, if you want to do it yourself, if you know of someone who's, hidden away in some hole somewhere and you want to pull that chap out, please feel free. You're all ambassadors of the community. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's make the best of sharing and getting together. So thank you once again. Big pranam to all of you, and we hope
And
to
thank
see
you,
you
PJ.
again. Yes,
The
thank
amazing,
you, PJ, for that
amazing.
lovely number.
Thanks a lot.
And do send your feedback in. Please write to us. Our details are on our website. Write to us. Give us your feedback. Anything you want us to improve on. We are in the same boat as you are. So wherever we're still
Big
struggling.
pranam also, big pranam to all the teachers who are here today, who have joined us here today. There are a lot of them who are into
Yes.
active teaching. So, hamara guru pranam lijiyega, and do keep blessing.
And Manish, we'll chase you for your session. Maybe in next month after Peter, we'll slot it in on one of the Saturdays.
Yes, and you've seen the session today. We are lucky that you were here, because one of the impressions that people have is that the webinars are very protocol driven, and they're people with choked up necks and ties and collars and this kind of stuff. No, this is hum sab chaddi mein baithe hain idhar, and it's an informal session. So long as it's upward from here, it's fine. It's an open platform. The idea is to share. The idea is to encourage art in any form, technology, art, craft, whatever, anything that's related to what excites us. So even if you have somebody who's a musician and wants to come and talk about music, let's go for it. So let the Animation Society of India not mislead you in the objective by just the name. That's just what we are stuck with. So have a great day, all of you. Lovely weekend. What a way to kickstart it. I'm like super stoked. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.